The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, interactive. You're listening to the RCWR show with Lee Sanders.
All right, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's jump right into it. Joining us on the show this week is the master of the self-high five, the founder of the successful DDP Yoga, former WCW heavyweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the one and only Mr. Diamond Dallas Page. Mr. Page, welcome.
How are you, bro?
I am doing good, sir. How you doing?
Unstoppable, brother. Just keep moving forward.
That exactly. Good words right there. It's really a huge honor to be in this moment talking with you right now. Thank you so much for this opportunity, as I've been a fan of your work for a good minute, and I can honestly say that I can't think of a better way to wrap up the year, as we're heading into our 300th episode in a couple of weeks. It's really nice to be talking to a true legend of the business.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem. You've been doing such a phenomenal job and work with DDP Yoga. It's really been helping change the lives and careers of so many. I mean, we got Jake the Snake Roberts, Scott Hall, Chris Jericho, even Titus O'Neil of the Primetime Players. One thing I've noticed is that so many people are able to connect with it well, whether it's young, old, black, white, green, disabled, you name it. What is it about DDP Yoga you think that makes people connect to it so well as opposed to other yoga programs that's out there?
Well, for starters, I took all the spiritual mumbo-jumbo stuff out, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I totally understand that and get it why people really like that part of it, but I eliminated all of that to make it more normal people friendly. You know what I mean by that? Just not so much normal people who want to work out, who want to, feel like they worked out, sweat their ass off, and work at their own level. And that's the biggest reason why DDP Yoga's had such, overall success, is because the workout meets you where you are. And you'll never hear me call it just yoga, because yoga goes into a spot that everybody sees it as reach your arms to the heavens so the universe smiles back at you. That's what they see. That's what they hear. They really don't think it's a workout. Mine is more engaging. And like I said, I've eliminated all the spiritual stuff out of it and put more of a positive attitude, like more surrounded around not just changing your life, but owning your life. And it really isn't like the workout, how I try to get people eating. It's more of it's a healthy lifestyle, period. And it's really surrounded around minimal joint impact. So really anybody can do it, at any level. Have you seen the disabled veteran that I helped years ago that helped him not only lose 140 pounds, but he lost his knee braces, his back brace, and his wraparound canes, not just to walk, but to run? Have you ever seen that guy?
Yeah.
What did you think when you saw that video? It's almost 10 million views. I think we're 50,000 views away from 10 million.
If that doesn't give you that extra motivation you need to go out there and do it, I don't know what will.
Well, that's the guy that eliminates all the excuses. So if a woman's, her back is hurt, or a guy's knees hurt, or their hips hurt, or, I just can't do it because, well, he sort of eliminated all those excuses. And it was really Chris Jericho who, Chris Jericho was like the first that I actually helped with the workout, because the doctors told him, just like they told me, that my career was over. They told him that his career was over. So in less than 3 months, he was 100% pain-free and headlined WrestleMania. So, he was the guy who really put it out there to all of the other wrestlers in the WWE, past and present, and got a lot of guys doing it. Yeah, he gave me a lot of credibility, but it was the same thing that happened for me. My career, I didn't start wrestling until I was 35 years old. That's when I started. To put that in perspective, Stone Cold Steve Austin retired at 37. Edge, Adam Copeland, retired at 38. I was just starting my career. My career didn't actually even take off until I was 40. So I'm the guy DDP was always the guy who was trying to find ways to hold back the hands of time. I became a master at it. Whether it was icing my body, icing my knees, or icing my back, I am literally the first guy in professional wrestling to ever do that. And that was the beginning of everyone laughing at me. Really, actually, when I told everyone I was going to be a wrestler at 35, they all laughed. Then I started to ice my knees. They laughed. Then I started to film all my matches, and they laughed. Today, every wrestler ices his body. Every wrestler does deep muscle massage therapy, applied kinesiology, chiropractic, all of that. Every wrestler, look on YouTube, films their matches. I'm the first guy to do any of that. And at 40, my career took off. I was living the dream at a different level. That was in 1996, 1997, and 98. I was on top of the world. According to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I was rated number 4 wrestler in the world. Stone Cold Steve Austin was number 1. I was number 4. That was my best buddy up there in the number 1 spot. So to be in that top 10 group was really huge to me. I was in one main event after the other, and then I blew my back out. I actually technically ruptured my L4 and L5. I had 3 back specialists tell me I'd never wrestle again. Well, at that point, when you're faced with a career-ending injury, and I just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal that was going to go bye-bye, I'd try anything. Because the first 42 years of my life, I'm the guy who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. But again, when you're desperate to save your career, you should try anything, and I did. And within 3 weeks of doing these yoga VHS tapes, I felt a significant difference in my flexibility, my core strength. Then I started to, at nighttime, work it into a little routine that I did before I went to bed. And then I started adding old school calisthenics, push-ups, squats, crunches with these rehabilitation moves that I'd learned, techniques to heal my body. Because I've healed my shoulders and my knees. All 4 had surgery. I rehabbed them back. So I've learned a lot about rehab and a lot about breaking up scar tissue. So then when I put all of this together, the yoga, the rehab, the old school calisthenics, and something I call dynamic resistance, and all that is the engaging or flexing of muscles as you move from one position to another, which jacks up your heart rate and gets you in the fat burning zone, literally standing still. After doing what would become DDP yoga for 3 months, I was back in the ring. At 42, they said my career's over. At 43 years young, I was a heavyweight champ of the world. So that's where it started with me. And then it went to that disabled veteran. And I helped so many people lose not just but hundreds of pounds. And it was never about a weight loss program. It was about healing your body. So think about how amazing the DDP yoga workout is and why the success that it has. First of all, when you think of DDP and yoga together, you got to add the tagline in, "It ain't your mama's yoga," which is another reason why people love it, because it's different. And it does have some yoga positions in it, but it's not yoga in any sense of the word that people understand it. But DDP yoga is going to help change the way people look at the word yoga. And that's really, it's an all-in-one workout that gives you a kick-ass cardiovascular workout that will dramatically increase your flexibility and strengthen your core, again, with minimal joint impact.
Wow, that's amazing. You were talking about the way that it changed the lives and all. One person I think we should make sure we give the spotlight on is Kia Stevens, a.k.a. Karma, Awesome Kong. I know as long as fans can remember, she's always been big and beautiful, but to see where she currently is physically, I mean, she looks stunning and like a completely, entirely different person. She gave credit to DDP Yoga. Did you personally reach out to her, or was it the other way around?
Actually, Jake did. She was in so much pain. Oh, my God. She's a very physical woman, Mm-hmm. She's a very physical woman. You can watch her just in the ring, the way she moves around and the way she throws people around. This girl, who's really just a quiet girl outside of the ring, Jake, had such amazing transformation for his body that, he was just saying, you should really try it. And then he hooked me up with her, and I sent her the program. And, She's been an awesome spokesperson for this. DDP yoga, I developed it originally for men, who wouldn't be caught dead doing yoga. But then I realized there was a lot of women out there, who really weren't into the whole yoga scene, but they dug the workout. And then I found a lot of people who love yoga, who love this workout. Now, there are the people who are looking for a really awesome workout as well, because I make it engaging. I make it fun, and again, I have people like, Kia, she was, a big girl, but she was also hurt and injured. So she was weak, and I had to teach her how to strengthen her body. And that's what this workout is really all about. That's the awesome super side effect of it all.
Okay. Now, you've got a great fan base, without a doubt, with DDP TV, the DDP Yoga combined. And just looking ahead into the future, maybe a year, 3-5 years from now, I'm curious, would you consider a DDP show taken to the airwaves? Because no joke, but I think DDP Yoga would be awesome on Discovery, OWN, Lifetime, True TV. I think you would seriously kick the Biggest Loser's butt, because it's more drama focused, if anything, as opposed to what you do, which is really from the heart.
I don't know how that will shake out over time. I'm talking to 3 different producers right now, and I have my choice adding one of them, but they're going to come to my house and film me for a couple of days and then see what this house is really all about. But I'm not really sure how that will shake out. I know something like that's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be a show like that, or if it's going to be a workout show, or if it's going to be a reality show. I'm not really sure right now. It'll happen in the next 18 months to 2 years, without question, though. Something will be about to go live.
Awesome. Going back to Jake and Scott for a moment, I can really see and feel how their lives and health changed dramatically, and I'm sure I speak for many fans out there. It makes me proud to see these guys accept the help that came from you in DDP Yoga. As before it all came in, it really appeared as though they were to be knocking on heaven's door. Last month, I saw this shoot interview. I don't know if you've seen the clips or whatever, but there's this shoot interview of Marty Jannety that was just really, really heartbreaking. And man, it was, and I'm saying this for the first time to our listeners, it almost brought me to tears to see this guy. And I'm sure I speak for his fans and that era of pro wrestling when I say he needs help badly. I know you got to want the help first, but sometimes, as we all know, some folks need a little bit of a push. Have you been in contact with Marty? Is he someone you'd be willing to reach out and help, or have you tried already?
No, I haven't, because, Scott and Jake, Jake was my mentor. I'm not really like a rehab place, and looking where Marty's at and what I've heard, he needs rehab. And I'm not a rehab. Scott and Jake, they've been to rehab 11 and 12 times. I think Scott was 11 and Jake was 12, or vice versa. So they really knew what the whole rehab scene was about, and it's what you take out of that. And some people it really helps, and other people, obviously, those guys were 10, 11, 12 times apiece. So what they didn't really need the rehab part. They got that part. It was more like the wanting to stop, but not just wanting to stop the addiction, but wanted to heal their bodies, and wanted to work out, wanted to change their lifestyle. So, that's really what it took for that. So, as far as anybody coming in, it's, it was just the right time at the right place, how it happened. And whoever would have believed that one of those guys would have turned their lives around, never mind both, in the same house, in the same year. That was just, destined, I guess. It looked like, I was really taking on the world doing that, because if it failed, especially as much as we put it out there, and we put it out there for a reason, to get the fans involved, because I knew the fans would have a positive impact on both of them, and they did. So, now it's just about their journey on their own to stay clean, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, right on. Today, of course, I didn't even realize this till we were about to come on the air. Today marks the birthday of the late Macho Man Randy Savage, who, if around today, would be 60. Can't help but remember how you locked it up with him a few times in WCW. One of the last times being Halloween Havoc, Las Vegas Sudden Death match. What was it like working with Macho Man? And, well, what's your take on him? Because I hear so many people say he was such a professional to work with.
Well, for Randy, was really Scott and Jake that put me on that rocket in 1997 when I did not take the NWO black and white. It was Randy that just put my career on a rocket, to the moon. But it was Randy that really solidified it by attacking me and Kimberly and starting our feud, which, according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, which would have to be the benchmark of professional wrestling magazines, that was the feud of the year, me and Savage. And it was an amazing feud. Getting to work with him, nobody beat Randy unless he said so. And as you can recall, the last 5 years of his career, Randy didn't do the job too often. If he did, it was because he agreed to it or he wanted to make someone that he thought was worthy. And, he put me over that first match in, at Spring Stampede, which was a huge pay-per-view for me. It was always a great pay-per-view for me. And that set my career in the upper stratosphere. So it was a lot of fun working with him. He was very professional. He was a little bit insane, but then again, so am I. So we got along perfectly, and we had some killer matches where we didn't hold anything back.
Right on. Do you think a time will come for WWF, WWE fans where Macho Man will be inducted into the Hall of Fame? I mean, he's got such a great body of work that he's left behind.
No, I think he should have been inducted 20 years ago.
Exactly. If you were a betting man, how much longer do you think fans will have to wait?
I don't know. That's a personal thing. And I think I'm not really sure what the details were, but obviously there's some sort of personality conflict there, or there was. So I don't know, how that'll shake down. I know Jake Roberts should be in the Hall of Fame. I know Scott Hall should be in the Hall of Fame. I know I should be in the Hall of Fame. So, whenever it happens, it happens. But again, as far as I'm concerned, Jake and Randy, they need to get in before me. So whenever it happens, it happens. And, I can only see Lanny being the recipient of that for Randy if he does. There's a lot of brotherly love between those two guys.
How badass would that be to see in a couple of months we get the 2014 card? We got Scotty in, we got Jake in, and we got Randy in.
Yeah, it would be cool. It'd be very cool.
I think that would even top Bruno. Would you agree?
Say what?
I think that would top Bruno's induction.
Well, if you got all three of them, I would say you're right.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a hell of a card right there. Now, I briefly remember your time in TNA back in 04-05. I'm sure veteran TNA fans would agree. Those were some good times for the company. I've come across a question from time to time that if you search right, you really can't find your answer to it. But there's so many people that still wonder, to this day, believe it or not, why you left TNA. I hope you don't mind me asking, but it's always good setting the record straight because we've got some folks out there that's believing in the dirt sheets instead of the source. What were some of the reasons that you had left?
Money. I came back for one reason, to show that I could still go at 49. I was 49 years old when I was bouncing around out there like that in TNA. And I wasn't bouncing around the same when I was 44, but I was, not that far off. And I just really wanted to come back for that 1 year, rack it up, have some fun matches, make some money. And then when it came time to renegotiate contract, we just didn't agree. And I was like, no big deal. Thank you very much. I had a great time. I was really done. I didn't have the run I wanted in the WWE, obviously. I did have a great little run with Christian, and we had a great WrestleMania. But, 2.5 years later, I want to show that DDP could still go. And that's the only reason I did it. It was more about showing what was possible with DDP yoga, than it was what I was doing in the rings. I obviously had really lived the dream on a whole different level at WCW and made a lot of money. And, I wasn't going back for the money. Of course, you still want to make great money, but I'm not going to beat up my body unless I'm making a certain number, because for me to risk hurting my knees anymore, or my back, or my hips, or my ankles, for me, it's pivotal that my body be in the best shape I can be in. I don't want to be broken down and beat up like so many of my other brothers.
I can respect that. Now, you guys have heard it. Hopefully, you guys will tweet that out there. That'll settle all the little silly rumors from the years. It's ridiculous.
I never lived any of that shit.
Really, I thought that was really funny. I was saying this earlier in the week, was a video that you had released by, I think it was YouTube, showed a video of you, Scott, and Jake playing WWE 2K14. For those of you that haven't seen it, you got to check it out. It's hilarious. But I couldn't help but, as funny as it was, I couldn't help but hone in on something that you said, which was, what the hell, you're not in the game. You were in the last one. To your knowledge, are you going to be downloadable content? Because now that's kind of actually having a huge influence on me. What if I want to play as you and do the diamond cutter on some people?
I just thought it was funny, man. We all sat around and we came up with, actually it was my girlfriend who really started joking. I was saying, I can't believe these son of a bitches ain't got me in this thing again. What the hell? I was downloadable last time too, though, So it's sort of like a half-ass compliment. But this one's all around WrestleMania, and it was just fun. It was fun to have Scott and highlight Scott out of that, and Jake had some fun with it too. And that video, in 24 hours, we did 53,000 hits.
Oh,
yeah.
That's good.
How many YouTube channels are doing shit like that? And climbing.
Not honestly, it's got to be consistent, and but there's really not that many. I mean, when you're really good, it just proves when you're really good at some great content on YouTube, yes, you can get the hits, and that video definitely. If you folks haven't checked it out, I'd highly recommend you check it out. It's really some good stuff. We can't help but I was thinking as we were bringing you on, we got Jay Leno. He's going to be retiring in a couple of months during the Olympic Games. We've got Jimmy Fallon taking his place and everything. Hopefully the second time around is going to work like a charm. But it made me think, too, it's almost been 15 years now that you had teamed up with Karl Malone. You lost to Hulk Hogan, Dennis Rodman at Bash at the Beach, but then you followed it up with a victory at, what was that, Road Wild, where you teamed up with Jay Leno to defeat Hogan and Bischoff. Meanwhile, you look over at what WWF was doing at the time. They had the whole explosion with Mike Tyson. We've seen celebrities cross over into wrestling for many years now. It even goes back decades. But why do you think it gets frowned upon nowadays from fans? Like, just two quick examples. A couple of years back, we had Dennis Miller host WWE Raw. That was probably, like, the biggest flop of the whole night. TNA brought in Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson, a hype up, but now canceled MMA fight. We can go on and on with that, but, going back, why do you think that period that you were involved in with the celebrities worked so damn good compared to what's been coming out in the past maybe 10 years?
Well, for starters, if you look at the hype that was up on the Chicago Bulls against the Utah Jazz, they were in the finals, and we had someone from the Bulls, Rodman, and we had someone from the Jazz who were two main players. I wouldn't say Michael Jordan, of course, would be the main player of the Bulls, but nobody got more press than Dennis Rodman. I mean, he didn't go to a practice when they were in the playoffs right before they met the Jazz. They had to win that game. I can't remember what it was, but we were in Detroit for a Nitro, and Rodman didn't go to practice. He came to to Nitro, and him and Hogan whacked me with the chairs. I ended up on ESPN that night, for one of the top 10 hits. And Rodman made everybody in a huge scene about it. And when Rodman came to WCW to wrestle, it got a lot of press, but it was still Rodman, and it was still more, he's the freak show, so is wrestling, blah, blah, blah. But when Malone came, you have to understand, you know who Malone really is in the NBA? Do you know his I guess it's, I don't know what the word is I'm thinking of, his stats, let's put it at that, his statistics, but he's the number 2 leading scorer of all time in the NBA. 2-time MVP. I mean, this guy is the cream of the crop. And for him to be involved in wrestling, that lit the world up. That was the highest paid pay-per-view, in the history of WCW.
Good times, man. I wish they'd bring him back, seriously. What was it like working with Jay Leno? He gets such a bad rep with the whole Conan O'Brien thing, but what was your personal experience with him?
Class act, friggin' hard worker. He didn't know anything about wrestling, but it was a great PR stunt for him. That's how hot Nitro was at the time. Hogan and Bischoff showed up on Nitro the second time and kicked Jay off his own set. I came in from the wings, knocked Hogan on his ass, and cut the match right there. I mean, it was fun and games, but it got people involved that never would have watched wrestling ever. Jay was a class act. He worked his ass off to learn so he could do something out there. He's not an athlete by any stretch of imagination, but he's an amazing entertainer. He had a hell of a run, bro.
Good run indeed, yeah. Now, I saw something really cool that you got coming up with DDP Yoga. It's called the $10,000 challenge that you got going on right now. Can you tell the folks a little bit about that?
Well, actually, it's 25. Someone will get $5,000 in the next month, and then we'll do it again like 3 months from now, and then we'll do it again at the end of our calendar year, which will be June, and it'll be 5,000, 5,000, and 10,000 for the best inspiring blogs. Who has the most inspiring blogs? That's what we're looking for right now. And the first one was a guy named Slim Gilliam. And Slim had been writing his blog for about a year, and we had started this program, this contest, DDP Yoga Challenge. If you go to ddpyogachallenge.com, you can see how you can become a part of it. And Slim didn't start his blog to win money. He did to inspire himself, inspire others. And Slim was a guy who lost 203 pounds. He went from 601 to 398 in 1 year. And that's from a really awesome workout program and a really great eating plan that he did. And it really helped him, just tear down this weight. And now he's on the second 150 pounds he's got to lose. So that's where he's at with everything. And he's a great model. If you ever want to see a great blog, go to thenext40days.com. Just spell it out, The Next 40 Days. It's a really inspiring blog. So that's what that's all about.
Okay, awesome. I'll definitely check that out. You also have a DDP yoga workshop, if I'm not mistaken, coming up December 7th in New Hampshire. What can folks expect from that?
That's a really awesome time. I'll be up there in New Hampshire on the 7th. I'll be in Smyrna, Georgia, which is outside of Atlanta, on January 18th. There's a couple. If you go to ddpyoga.com, there's about 4 of them I'm doing. And what I do when I do that is, we get into, where the workout comes from. I really get into breathing. I get into breaking down what dynamic resistance is. And then I break down my dime a dozen pieces of the workout. And then I take them through a workout. It's about a 2.5 to 3 hour, ultimate workshop. It's a fun time, and, it's very interactive. And anyone who's doing the program, it takes it to another level. If they haven't started the program yet, there's a good chance after that they're going to start it. Because any first-time people coming in, I make it so if you can bend over and pick up your keys, you can do the workout or reach up and change the light bulb. You just got to be able to be able to move around. If you can move around, you can do the workout. So I make it really fun and interactive.
Awesome.
As a matter of fact, what I do in July, from the 5th to the 15th, I'll be in Mexico, and I've got a 5-star resort down there. I do my DDP yoga retreat every year, and it's an awesome time. And we work out hard, we eat really good, and we party. It ain't your mama's yoga retreat. It's a lot of fun, and it's pretty economically priced, especially considering it's a 5-star resort, and you can go in for 3 days, 5 days, 8 days, whatever you want to go in for. You can go in. I've already got like 20 people signed up for all 10 days while I'm down there. So last year I had 80 people in Mexico for a little over a week. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, I told my girlfriend what I want for Christmas, my birthday, because it's pretty much almost in the same week. I said, I want to get started with DDP Yoga. So I'm not just saying that because you're here, but I told her, I said, I like what's going on with DDP Yoga. I want to get signed up for it. So I'm proud to say I'm definitely going to be coming on board and doing this because I really like what you're doing.
Well, if you become part of it and you start doing the program, you'll be invited to my Team DDP Yoga site. When you get on there and you get started, hit me with a message over to me because I do answer all my own stuff. And let me know that we had this talk, and maybe we'll check in about 30 days later and see where you're at.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's what's up. Well, look, I really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart taking the time out to do this because I know you're a very busy man, and we got to make sure we show you some love for all the very latest. Everybody, you got to make sure you go to ddpyoga.com. You can follow Mr. Page on Twitter at RealDDP. Follow DDP Yoga on Twitter as well. At DDP Yoga. You got Facebook as well, correct?
I'll tell you what, don't listen to a word I said about anything about my program. Just go to one word, DDPYOGA, one word, DDP Yoga, and read what people write. Because you can't make people write that. They're only going to write something that they believe in.
Yeah. It was a huge honor to have you on the show. We greatly appreciate you doing this, and hopefully we can remain in contact. Definitely check in with you on time to time, see what else you got going on.
You got it, buddy. Have a great night, man.
All right, you two have a good weekend. Thank you so much, and enjoy the holidays.
You too, buddy. See you.
All right, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Diamond Dallas Page. I know he said look up DDP Yoga. I would definitely second that, but we got to make sure we show him some love. Put those links out there again. DDP Yoga. Look that up online. Got a website right there. You can follow him on Twitter, Real DDP. You can also follow DDP Yoga at DDP Yoga. Huge, great stuff right there, man. I really appreciate it. Phil, I couldn't help but look at some of the things that you had said there in the chat room there, man, and I appreciate that 100%. Direct quote from Phil, this is crazy. The show is really taking off. I guess it is. 300 episodes, almost. We've been at this since, late 2011. I guess it's coming along. I will definitely say that, and we definitely appreciate Mr. Diamond Dallas Page taking time out of his schedule to do this.